Hey folks, it's Mark with Fire Mountain Outdoors. Thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Hey, today we're going to get a little bit science guy on you. I have a theory and I have a hypothesis, and we're going to prove or disprove it. Stick around. Well, so here's my theory. My theory is that I can greatly change or significantly change the group size of these Ruger 1022s simply by changing the action screw tension, the torque applied to the action screw that holds this firearm to the stock. I've actually experienced that before in 22s that weren't grouping very well. I experimented with the action screw torque and was able to shrink my sizes dramatically. So we're just going to prove it or disprove it scientifically by utilizing different torques. I got a new tool, the F.A.T wrench from Wheeler Engineering, that is a torque screwdriver. The factory manufactured torque specs was 20 inch-pounds on this action screw, which is pretty hard to tell just by your free hand. Is it tight? Is it too tight? Is it not tight enough? We don't know. But we have a tool that accurately measures that, and we're going to try different torque settings on these 3 different rifles and go through a scientific process and put a bunch of rounds down range, which is the fun part, and then compare our findings. So I know that the manufacturer's recommended torque setting for this action screw right here is 20 inch-pounds. Now that's hard for me to tell with a screwdriver to put it on there and determine that torque. I don't know what that is. That's why we have this Wheeler Engineering F.A.T Firearms Accurizing Torque Wrench, the F.A.T wrench. Now I'm going to dial that up to 20 inch-pounds. And there I've set it at 20 inch-pounds. And we're going to compare that to what I had this tension set at before. Boy, that screw was really loose. Let's apply some torque to that. There, I clicked once. So now I have that screw set at the manufacturer's recommended torque setting. We're going to experiment at 20, and then we're going to experiment at 30 and at 10. We may get down to fine tuning in between, I'm not sure yet. But let's shoot a group. All right, folks. Hey, this is actually stellar. It's way better than what I expected. I am proving my hypothesis right here. God, my high school science teacher would be so proud of me right now. So check this out. This is the first group that we shot, and this was at 20 inch-pounds. So then I tightened up the action screw to 30 inch-pounds. I dropped it down to 10 inch-pounds. Look at that. These 3 shots are touching. So we went from roughly 2-inch group, we'll measure this later, down and went way diverse at 30 inch-pounds, and we dropped that down below the recommended manufacturers. That's probably why I had it so loose before, because I'd experimented this before. And what brought me to this theory, this right here, at 10 inch-pounds, I'm at 50 yards, and I have 3 shots touching. You know, Bob and I are doing this accuracy build on the other 1022 where we've did stocks and barrels and optics and all of that. Just adjusting this little screw right here, the tightness of this. Look at how dramatic it changed it. There's huge gains to be had on your Ruger 1022 by experimenting and documenting and setting your tension here. Once again, very, very dramatic results. As you can see right here, we started out with the factory recommended 20 inch-pounds. I got a nice tight 1/2 inch group here. We went up to 30 inch-pounds, and it got much, much larger. You know, we did have a flyer here. I did hear a louder report. I think that might have been ammo related, so I can't really say that that was all action. But look here, we dropped down to 10. I got a 3-shot clover leaf right there. So that's a dramatic difference between that, and really huge between that and that. Very, very interesting. Well, let's check out the groups from Eli's rifle. Now this is much different than the ones, the groups that we got from the others. So we started out at 20, and we're at 50 yards, of course, 20 inch-pounds. I tightened his rifle up to 30 inch-pounds, and look at that. It's clear that his rifle really likes a lot more torque than the factory 20 pounds recommended. I dropped it back down to 10, and it opened way back up again. Very fascinating. Well, I'm looking at these targets, and that was some dramatic difference. You know, on that stainless steel boat paddle Ruger 1022, we started out at the factory 20 inch-pound setting, cranked it up to 30. Our groups actually shrunk a little bit. We dropped it down to 10, and we got dang near a one-hole group there. Tightened it up considerably. I'll take some measurements at the end of the video. I'll show you the actual measurements for all of these. If we look at the Magpul Project 1022, we started out at the 20 inch-pound setting, tightened it up to 30 inch-pounds, grew dramatically, dropped her down to 10. It really liked it there. Eli's rifle was totally different, and yours might be too. Eli started out with the 20 inch-pound factory setting. There it had a really big group. We tightened it up to 30, a one-hole group, darn near. We dropped it down to 10, and it opened up even wider than the factory setting. So, what's that tell us, folks? Here's what it tells me. One of the most important tools for accurizing your 1022 is actually in your toolbox. It'd be a screwdriver. A nice tool to have would be a torque screwdriver like this F.A.T wrench from Wheeler Engineering. That way you can make repeatable results. Now, what do you do with this information that I showed you? Here, to do it scientifically, what I would do would be to probably get a torque screwdriver. You can just take your regular screwdriver and just shoot some groups at different screw settings. See if your 1022 likes your action screw tighter or looser. It'd probably be best to do it scientific-like and shoot 3 groups of 3 and average them, then either tighten or loosen, and keep progressing until you find that sweet spot where your rifle really performs, because there's huge gains to be had there for basically free. And if you did invest in a screwdriver, you got a nice tool for tightening scope bases and everything else too. So hey, I hope this video was insightful, maybe opened your eyes a little bit like it did mine, and gave you a cool tip on how to accurize your 1022 and shrink your groups for a very minimal cost. As always, thanks for watching. You can't take back a bullet, folks, so always shoot safe. Follow the 4 basic safety rules, and we'll catch you on the fire line. Hey, if you like this, please like and subscribe. And if you got a buddy that's got a 1022, share it with him. He'd love to have that information too. Maybe you guys can get together, pitch in, buy a screwdriver, a torque screwdriver, and go out to the range and dial your rifle in just right. Thanks for watching.